Hello, my beautiful people, my lovely people. If you're a Niger person, you do not know how blessed you are. You know, I run the truth here on my channel, whether the good or the not so good or the not good at all. I bring good videos to let you know that the world is watching and you are doing amazing. I bring Oreya to the constructive videos to educate us and throw more light on some cultural shocks, because there are so many foreigners who are interested in things Nigerian, as well as Nigerians in the diaspora here to visit the homeland here on this channel. What we do here is to stay as honest as practicably possible. Before we start, please do me a favor, share this video to your loved ones, share this video to your friends and even to your enemies. Information is key, information is power.
Things I wish I knew before I married my Nigerian husband. They don't like to go out to eat. They don't like to go to restaurants. I don't want to cook every day, 3 times a day.
For someone in Nigeria, resident in the southeast part, they will say, yes, why should I go out if I have a wife that can cook for me? And if you go to the south, it is mostly similar to that of the southeast. And if you go to southwest, yes, it is also expected. In the big cities like Lagos, it is expected. However, due to some liberalization, some men, for some reasons, may decide to eat out once in a while. In the north, it is also expected that the wife should present food to the husband. So, if you see a Nigerian man who is always eating out with his family, it is not his wish at all. It mostly doesn't occur here in Nigeria. 1 or 2 times, they might, depending, especially if the wife is sick or the wife is heavily pregnant, or that they are quarreling with their woman or their wife, and their wife is the type that doesn't cook if she's quarreling with the husband. There are women like that. They may not want to cook for the husband if they are quarreling with him, or the man does not provide money for the home and the woman is not the type that sacrifices for the family, or the woman is done with the sacrifice, maybe because she feels that the man is taking her for granted. Alright, aside all this, irrespective of our diverse cultures in Nigeria, a typical Nigerian mother serves her husband food, most times in the presence of her children, and of course they grow up to learn. That is why it would be unusual for a man, your husband, to have a wife, you have some cooking ingredients in the house, yet he will spend more to buy food or to eat out, to eat the food that may not taste as good as yours. He may prefer you learn how to cook and cook for him, or at least make the food at home. It is believed to be more economical than eating outside. Okay, it is something you will have to learn to adapt to. However, I also feel that men should also try to see when their wives are too indisposed to cook. Though I advise women to cook and store in the refrigerator, it is easier that way. Men should also learn to cook, to also assist in rainy days, especially if your wife gets sick or she's not disposed to cook. Also, you can eat out as a family once in a while. Taking your family out for bonding, for connection, to relax and to enjoy yourself. We shouldn't all be rigid all the time. Life should be enjoyed, and marriages should be enjoyed as well.
Don't like public affection. They don't want to kiss. They don't want to hold hands. They don't want to hug in public. This is America. No one cares. No one cares.
For your husband, he may be a traditional man. By traditional, I do not mean a chieftaincy title, that he is holding a chieftaincy title or a title of any sort. I mean traditional by association. See, there are many men who grew up around parents who didn't openly display their affection. And let me tell you, it is a pattern in the Nigerian society for our parents or older couple. Nigerians watching my content, you know what I'm saying. Though not all of them, but majority of them. So you cannot give or dish out what you do not have, especially men from some tribes who grew up in an environment that women are seen as just a baby factory or a weaker vessel. And again, in societies where providing or money as well as authority is seen as the only thing that drives marriage, these kind of men will eat you out in private. You know what I'm talking about. However, they will harden their expression while in public. Another factor is the traditional belief system of some men whose society taught that interaction with women, generally their wives, in an amorous way should be kept private to avoid spoiling or inciting the younger ones into venturing or practicing such. Another factor may be religion. Let me give an example. Orthodox churches like the Anglican, the Catholic, all those old generational churches, where people maintain their lane. There are certain kind of things that they do in the church, or the preaching of certain things about marriage. Although recently many of them have started diversifying. However, the Pentecostal churches, there are some form of openness by pastors who mount the altar to preach on marriage topics, and they are very raw about it. Therefore, enlightening people on what true marriage is all about. I would say modernization. But overall, there are men who, despite their traditional upbringing, will still love PDA, that is public display of affection, so much because of their kind of peer or the kind of friends that they associate with, or because of their personality. So sis, it is not all Nigerian men that hates public affection. There are millions of men out there who would love to kiss you, who would love to hold hands and touch you in modest areas in public, just because they are in love with you or to mark you as their own, especially men who are envious lovers and highly territorial. But there are men who hate public display of affection.
They will just show up to your house unannounced. And in America, that's considered rude. And I'm like, dang, like what if I was depressed that day and they just show up and I have to force myself to be happy?
My dear, in as much as this is the culture in Nigeria, however, we are in the 2020s, so it is expected for an adult to call before coming. First, you need to find out if they are around, so you don't end up wasting transportation or fuel, drive to their house and you will not meet any person. Also, you need to know if they are in the mood to accept visitors. Sometimes couples quarrel or fight. Also, you need to inform them so that they will prepare nice delicacy with that chilled drinks, so they will call you. That is why when they call you and ask you, are you around, my dear, they may likely be closer to your house. You may feel that they didn't tell you, but they indirectly informed you. And that is why currently, if someone asks you, oh, are you around? You hear from the other end, oh, anything, any show, you won't give me anything, you won't dash me, you want to come. This is a way of also trying to find out if they want to come to your house. If the guest is unrelated, it is rude not to call at all. So yes, sis, you have to get used to it. Now, I would love us to react to another video. Now, this video I reacted to is a white lady that got married to a Nigerian man. Now, what about a white man that got married to a Nigerian lady? Now, let's watch this.
Things I didn't know about Nigerian culture until marrying my wife.
Number 1.
African time. If the party invite says show up at 3, that's not really when it starts.
Yes.
You're going to show up to an empty dance hall.
Yes.
It probably most likely starts at 6.
Yes.
And the music will be loud.
Well, we need to be cautious about this topic. I will state it categorically clear that it depends on the event in Nigeria. African time is only for informal events like parties, like visitations, but not some occasions, not some events like church service, not corporate events like meetings, like exams, like interviews. I decided to explain this African time because I noticed that a lot of people are misinterpreting it, and many of you may miss something important simply because of what you are listening to out there. So you don't end up losing your contracts because you are building your hopes around the so-called African time. Now, let me make it clear. Business meeting, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. For exams, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. For church service or mass, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. For prayer service, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. For appointments, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. For interviews, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. For competitions, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. For auditing, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. For classes, 8 a.m. is 8 a.m. Please, dear brothers and sisters, there is nothing like African time in these occasions. Informal events, of course, visitation, like weddings and the rest of them, of course. But for corporate events, please stick to the time. I will even advise you to attend these occasions. It is better to be there early than to miss the programs.
Very loud. So funny. I used to think my wife was like yelling at me.
Yes.
Little did I know she was just expressing how she felt, and it was totally normal.
Yes.
So I had to learn that no, she's not yelling. That's just how she talks. Same with her big brother. He's the sweetest guy ever. And sometimes he'll just talk to someone in public and they think they're yelling, "No, no!" And they're just like, he's not yelling at you. He just speaks really loud. When I first met him, I was kind of scared because he was all smiles but yelling at me. I was like, I don't know if you're mad or happy, but rock on, brother-in-law.
I won't stress much about this because I had on so many of my reaction videos explained that not all Nigerians are allowed.
Another thing I didn't know is family doesn't just mean immediate family. It is everybody. When you marry a Nigerian woman, you're marrying the whole culture and pretty much the whole country of Nigeria.
Yes.
There's an auntie that's not really auntie, but they call her big auntie, and you're confused because you thought it was your aunt. You're like, I didn't know you had another aunt. She's like, well, that's not really my blood aunt, but she's my aunt. Okay, it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, so like everybody you grew up with, like within your culture, like your neighbors, you refer to them as your sisters, your cousins, your aunt, your uncle. Like that's just the way it is. Like that's our culture.
And
Well, I will say yes. When you marry a Nigerian, you are automatically an in-law to every relative because Nigerians believe in family. We have aunties, we have uncles, we have distant aunties, distant uncles, we have our mother's third generational cousins. That's how we roll. You understand? And they all see you as their in-law.
And speaking of that, respect the culture. I wish you would have told me this earlier. You can't just go to an elder and say, hi. I didn't really know that's actually a little bit rude. You
Hi
gotta say,
is not greeting.
Yes. So you got to say good morning, sir, or good afternoon, ma'am. That is a more appropriate way to respect an elder. Where, you know, here in the States, it's not super disrespectful to say, hi, hello, how are you?
Yes.
But Nigerian culture, you got to have a little more respect than just hi.
Very true. Greeting an elderly person, not even elderly, someone who's older than you, someone is like, I want to say like 6-7 years older than you, you have to say like, good evening ma'am, good evening sir. It's not like, hi, hello, like when my kids see my parents or his parents, they can't say like, oh hi, no, that's disrespectful. In a lot of cultures, you have to curtsy and you have to say good morning ma'am, good morning sir.
Respect the culture. Now, I made a video about a Liberian woman some time ago, and some Africans in the comment section and even few Nigerians came to react or drag Nigerians for sticking to our culture, stating that things have changed, that we should be more westernized. Some even asked, what if the girl or the visitor is a white person? Are we going to accept such? Listen, we are Nigerians. Our culture existed before and still remained after the white men colonized us. In fact, the British colonized Nigeria indirectly because they were met with a lot of resistance. Our cultural values are strong and it is part of our existence. If you as a national or as a nation or citizens of other nations allowed your cultural values to be diluted, that is on you. You are the one that allowed it. We Nigerians will not allow others to corrupt our good heritage that is not hurting anybody. It is only hurting your ego and you have to deal with it. Now, even a white man is respecting our culture and adoring it, but an African was complaining or angry at our own culture. Respect your elders. If you are mingling with Nigerians, respect is valued. It is important, especially in Nigeria. Different tribes have their different approach to it, but overall, respect your elders.
Oh boy, watch out for that pepper soup. Hot pepper soup. I do like spicy food, but I can't keep up with the most spicy Nigerian food. It's a little too spicy for a white guy.
Yeah. Their idea of spicy is not spicy. Like black pepper is not spicy. Hot sauce is not spicy. Like that's not spicy. Give me some like, is it habanero? What's the other ones?
Ghost pepper, habanero, jalapeno.
Yes, even jalapeno is not even that spicy. Like,
Yes, it also depends on the tribe and individual. Some like it peppery, but some don't. However, coming from an Oyibo man, I completely understand.